Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our grade 6 coding class for today, 31 July 2020. Can you believe it? July is also basically done and dusted with. This year has gone by so quickly. I just want to welcome you to today's lesson. Today we will finish up with our functions in Harvester. This will be our part 3. Okay guys, so for those of you that don't know me, my name is Mike Gelderneys and I'll be your coding teacher, and everybody just calls me Sir or Mr. G. Just want to quickly say that I hope you guys are ready for today and you're ready to take on the day and learn something new. So let's just get started right away. As I mentioned, our topic today will be functions, and we're going to complete that in our Harvester. Just a couple of things we have to remember, guys. Just remember our class rules. Just take note of a couple of those, and remember, when we are busy in lessons, please don't use the chat box too much unless it is content specific. Sometimes we are talking, and if there are a lot of things coming through, I don't get to see all the responses because I am on 2 systems. Okay, guys, and just a note that any disruptive learners will be removed. This is just for everybody's safety, and we have to make sure that you guys also enjoy your lessons and nothing funny goes on in the chat. Okay, guys, so what are our objectives for today? Our objectives to recognize when functions could help simplify a program. And then we've actually practiced that quite a bit yesterday, where we write one function and we can just recall that function over and over again to complete our objectives. Use predetermined functions to complete commonly repeated tasks. Okay, so this is just where they give us a bunch of predetermined functions, and we have to use them in a specific way in our code to actually complete our puzzles. Okay, guys, just remember the reason why we do these things is this lesson is meant to further push us to use functions in more creative ways. By also using conditionals and loops, we will learn there are many ways to approach a problem, but some are more efficient than others. And then also just to improve our problem solving and critical thinking skills. A condition, just a quick reminder of what a condition is. A condition is a statement that a program checks to see if it is true or false. If true, the action is taken, otherwise the action is ignored. And then our loops we are quite familiar with, just doing something over and over again. And then here we have our function, a piece of code that you can easily recall over and over again. Okay, so just remember the 2 there, even though it says over and over again on both of them, the one is just an action that we repeat more than once, and the other one is where we write an entire piece of code that performs a certain action, or piece of code that completes an entire action that we can just recall, and we might even have then a whole bunch of loops within that. Okay, so let's get going to our next slide. There we go, and just a quick reminder of our toolbox, what it looks like inside, and all our new categories where all our blocks are stored underneath. Okay, guys, remember you'll find all your new functions that you create in your functions category, and then we'll be able to just drag them in place in our code. And then here we go. It's just how we use our functions. We can check and create our own. And here we see create your own function. We just rename it. And then once you've created it, it looks like this one over here. And then here you can see it just being drawn or dragged, not drawn, dragged into your code. Okay, guys, so what I'm going to do, there we go. There, I've made an example of what it's going to look like. You write your code, you rename it, and then here you can see it's available in your functions. So I'm going to go straight through to code.org. If you guys give me a moment, I'm going to share the link with you, and then we will start figuring out some new code. There we go. Here comes the link. You guys can find it. You can find it in your chat box. And I see Bless is asking me a question. Yes, you can join with a different computer. Remember, you can just open it up on a different computer and then use the... I just want to see what my code is for this puzzle. If you don't have the link, you can actually type in a code as well. The code for it, let me just double check for you. The code will be, I'm going to type that in the chat box as well. Let me put this in the chat box. It is BSX KHR. There we go. You can also join with that code. If you don't get the link, if you use a different computer for code.org or your Zoom is on a different device, you can still go to code.org. You just have to type in code.org, go to it in Google, and then when it asks you to type in a code, there we go. There's your code, BSXKHR. Okay, guys, so let's start looking at our code. I see we've got a whole bunch of people in already. Remember, first things first, what do? We go and check our instructions. What do they want us to do? Use everything that you've learned so far to solve this puzzle in 19 blocks or less. In 19 blocks or less. Now, if we look at it, it already says 12. And don't worry about that because remember, when you write a function, the code inside the function counts towards the blocks you've used. Okay, so if we look at these three functions that they give us, they used 12 blocks. We can just quickly check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the function block itself, the green one, counts. And then we will see 12 is when, our when run block. So we've used 12 blocks already. So we only have 7 left to complete this puzzle. Now, if we look at this puzzle, looks quite interesting. We've got a whole bunch of pumpkins. We've got some big values, and then we've got some unknown values. And then in between, we'll see that there are some sprouts coming up. Okay, so I'm not sure if they tell us what is in those sprouts. Maybe it could just be, I see, if we look at the functions that they have written, let's just move them up so we can see them nicely. That one is a check square for corn. So I presume that there are only corn underneath those sprouts. So what is the check square for corn function? It is if there is corn, do pick corn. And that is now each square. Each little spot that our farmer moves on, that is what she's going to do. So that is a function just to check every square for corn. Our next function, if we put it over here, we see it is get all pumpkins. Okay, and this time we have a whole bunch of pumpkins. So there are quite a few pumpkins around. What is the code inside that? While there are pumpkins, do pick pumpkins. And we know that that is a good one to have because of the fact we don't have the values of some of the pumpkins and that some of the values are also quite high. So our farmer will pick pumpkins while they are and only move on. Remember our condition, only move on once they are finished. And then here we have one more function. Now this function is, wow, it's for an entire path. Okay, so what do we do along the path? So the name of this function is pick along path. Repeat until there are pumpkins. Okay, what are we going to repeat until there are pumpkins? Look at that. They've written both these functions into this one function. So repeat until there are pumpkins is we're going to check square for corn and then move forward and then also get all pumpkins. Okay, so now that we know which functions we have, and remember you can go and find them in your function block, your function category, there we are, and there's all three functions available to use. Let's look at our puzzle now. What does it look like? Because now we know our functions, we know what they want us to do. Let's go and have a look at this. Okay, wow. So we've got quite a few paths that we can check. If we remember, everything in a straight line we can see as a path, okay? Because only once there isn't a space to move, we need to turn or anything. So while we are moving in one line, it is quite nice because we can see it as a path. Each block and then pumpkins. So we have to ask ourselves, what would be the best thing to do? Now I see I'm already facing this way and there are some pumpkins at the end here. So I think that could be quite nice. Let's see what we have in here. We've got our loops. Repeat until there are pumpkins. While path ahead, or while there is, while path ahead. Let's just look at our functions again. Pick a long path. I think I'm going to do that because remember, what do we do along the path? We do everything along the path. We check each square for corn and we get pumpkins. So that is quite a cool one. I'm going to go pick a long path. And remember, you can always test every action you put in to see if it works. And here I'm going to go right away and I'm going to test it. See if that worked. There we go. Okay, great. So I know that this works. If I just move along the path, get to a pumpkin, that one block performs all the actions I need. Okay, so that's quite cool. And remember, inside it also checks for corn, so I'm not worried about it. Now, the only thing I need to do is move around here. So I think I can actually put a loop because remember, we've got a square here. So we've got 4 paths. But even if you didn't see that, let's see what we do. We're going to turn right, just to turn. And if we look at that, if we look in our actions, look at that, they only give us 1, or they only give us 2. Because it's not 2 of each, it's just 2. It says 1 now because I've used the 1. Let me put it back in the actions. There we see it gives us 2. Now I just want to show you, it's not 2 turn rights and 2 turn lefts. It's a total of 2 because it's the same command, turn. And if I take out 1, I've just taken out one right. And if I go back, you'll see it says one right, one left. So it's a total of 2 blocks that I have available. Turn right, and then I can see, okay, here's another path. I'm going to turn right, another path, turn right. Okay, cool. So I can repeat all this 4 times to make the square. And I can run it and see what happens. Oh, there we go. Turned. There's some corn. Yes, I pick up the corn. Oops, look at me again, forgetting to change my value inside the repeat block. So let's just go back, make that 4, reset and run again, because I want to be here. I don't want to write code where I have to turn around first, go back. Let's see what happens. Perfect. So there I am, finished everything along this square. Now I have one more little square down here. So I can imagine if I just turn my farmer this way, I can perform my same. Pick all along this path, turn right. So it's going to be the same thing. Come down here, collect the pumpkins, turn right, collect the pumpkins. Okay, this is cool. I think I can just turn right once, and there we go. I've now finished. Look at that. Now I have 0. They've only wanted us to use 2 turn blocks, and that is what we've done now. So only 2. I'm going to turn here. See, might run into a problem over here, but we'll see. Unless we put everything in a repeat block again, but let's see. So even if we got to this point and we want to come down this way, so what are we going to do to come down this way? I would have used pick a long path, and let's check that quickly. There we go, turned around, going all the way down. Perfect, that works well. Now we're running into the problem of, hey, look at that, it works, but now I need to turn right again. And if I go to my action blocks, they tell me I don't have any left. Just remember, if you don't spot the pattern, it's okay. Even if it says 0, you can still use it. Look at that, you can still use it. If you go back there, it will just show you you've used more than that, what they want you to use. But don't worry, if you can't figure it out and you see, okay, I will be able to solve it if I use 1 extra block, by all means, do it. I just want to show you this quickly. What do we see here now? Pick a long path and turn right. It's the same as this code over here. So it's the same action, also just in a square 4 times. So I think if I put all of this, because the turn right is not going to make a difference, if I put all of that in another loop, like that, hey, let's see if that works. The only thing is I'll have to change this to 2, not 5, because we've got 1 square up here and 1 square up here. We're only going to repeat that 2 times. Let me move this function away a bit so we can see our code. So let's reset and run. So now we're going to go on the inside first, repeat 4 times. And then we're going to turn right. And then we're going to repeat everything 2 times. And the only thing is our last move, she will also turn right in here, which doesn't affect our code. There we go. Perfect. Look at that. So guys, again, I want to encourage you, write your code bit by bit and change it as we move along. Okay. I hope everybody understood that and that you saw how we move between or how we write our code step by step, and then just making little changes to the problems we run into. Okay, guys, now here's a nice, interesting one. This veggie is unknown. I wonder if it's just that. Yes, oh no, there are some other ones as well. It changes each time you run this program. Okay, there's a little tip they gave us. Let's close that and see. Solve this puzzle in 23 blocks or less. Each sprout will either grow one corn or nothing. Okay, so it's not really unknown. We know that there will be corn inside that sprout. Those sprouts over there, there will be some corn in there. To find the best solution, you will need to, oh, sorry, I just want to move everything off you will need to edit the function. Okay, and I see we've got someone that needs the link. Let me quickly copy that. There we go. Each sprout will either grow one corn or nothing. To find the best solution, you will need to edit the functions. Okay, so here we have 8 blocks already with the functions that they've given us. We've got 2 functions here, check for corn and pick along path. So let's put it over here and see what we can do with it. Okay, first, let me just make that bigger as well. Sorry guys, I'm just waiting for it to load nicely on my side so my mouse is not moving. Okay, there we go. Make that bigger. So if we look at our functions that they give us, we have pick along path, repeat until there are pumpkins. Okay, there are no pumpkins in here, so I don't even think that this function will work at all. Move forward, check for corn. So let's check our check for corn function. If there is corn, do pick corn. Okay, so that could work with this. So I think this function we will need to change a bit, this first function that they gave us. So if we look at our puzzle, what do you guys think will be a nice name for the actions we need to perform? Now, if we look at it, we have to decide what is in here that we are going to do. Here we can see our little stairs. So, okay, cool, there's stairs. There's a repeated pattern down here. We also have some stairs. Here we have 1, 2, 3 stairs. Here we have 1, 2, 3 stairs. Okay, so maybe we can change this function to stairs. And here we have a rectangle that we have to do. So maybe we can farm in a rectangle. So we just have to decide what's the best step for us. What are we going to do to actually solve this puzzle? Okay. Does anybody have an idea? Then if you can give me an idea, then we can start somewhere. Otherwise, if nobody can help me out, then I will just talk you guys through it. Let's remember what I always say, let's just start coding a little bit. So let's forget about this just for now. Let's forget about this just for now. What is our farmer going to do? Our farmer is going to move forward. She is going to turn right. She is going to move forward. And she is going to turn left. That is just to move down one step. Moving from where she is standing right now, one step down on the lettuce, from there to there. This is our code. Move forward, turn right, move forward, turn left. Okay, so move forward, turn right, move forward, turn left. And we can check that by running our code. There we go. So that's perfect. That's what we want her to do. When she gets there, what is she going to do? She needs to pick the letters. We can also see, though, the value of the letters changes. Okay, there's a different value. So we cannot just use pick letters because we have to make sure she picks up everything. Let me just quickly open my chat. There we go. And I say, JD says, let's pick letters all. There we go. Guys, yes. Let's see what we have available. Do we have a all that we can use? We can use a while there is letters, pick letters. Okay, so there we go. We're going to pick all the letters. While there is letters, we are going to pick it. So let's go to our actions. And we're going to pick letters. Okay, so here we have that. 1 step, 2 steps, pick letters. Okay, and let's go to JD because I also see he raised his hand. So maybe he has an idea of what we can go do from here on. Hi, JD.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
Fine, thank you.
Good, thank you. So what idea do you have for us, JD?
So you basically go to the loop, sir.
Yes.
And then you say loop that by 4 times. That
4 times.
Yes. Or 2
Okay.
times.
2 times. There we go. Great stuff. We're going to go to loops and then we're going to repeat that 2 times because we've got 2 steps. Now, guys, we can see. Okay, what else do you want to tell us here, JD?
And then you move forward along the path.
Okay. I just want to give you guys a clue quickly here. If we see here, I'm going to do the along the path over here but guys, we have stairs here and we have stairs here. So can you see that this entire piece that we've just written over here, we are going to repeat down here?
Yes.
Okay. So what can we do with this code that we've just written to save it?
Oh, you can put it in another one.
We can put it in a function. We can put it in a function and we can recall it. So remember, we're not going to use the check. We can rename our function and we can call it maybe stairs. Stairs, there we go. Or we can call it letter stairs because there's only letters in the stairs. So whatever we want to call it, let's just call it stairs. I'm going to throw this code that they've put inside away because we want our own code. This entire piece we've got here, I'm going to put inside stairs. And there we go. We've got stairs. Okay. Now, remember, if you take it away and you put it inside a function, you need to put the function block in here to run. So let's quickly run it and see what happens. There we go. Perfect. So can you see our stairs work nicely?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what are we going to do next, JD?
So won't we use the other function, pick along path?
There we go. We want to use the other function and we want to pick along the path. Or you can also call this, because remember, what shape are we going to go around here? But let's do that. While there's a path, let's go. Before we get to that, we can rename it later. Let's look at what we do first. So yes, I'm going to write it down here. And if we see a pattern, then we can put it in the other function. So JD said, while there's a path, let's see, where do we have this? While there is corn, while there is lettuce, there we go. While path ahead, what am I going to do, JD?
To pick the corn.
Remember, what's the first thing we have to do in a path?
Move forward.
Move forward. There we go. We're going to move forward. We're going to move forward in the path. And then, yes, while we move in the path, what are we going to do?
We're gonna pick corn.
There we go. So if there is corn, let's go. If there is corn, let's see where it is. Where is it? Where is it? There we go. If there is corn, I'm going to pick the corn. And I'm using the if, I'm not using the while. The reason for that is they told that there's only one. So if there's one, I'm going to pick it. Remember that if won't work if there are more than one, because then we've only given an instruction of one. So then the while will work better. But I just want to pick one because they told us there will only be one. If there is corn, what am I going to do? I am going to pick corn. Okay, what's next, JD?
So don't you say repeat that? Wait, don't you say turn left?
Beautiful. So when we get to the end of this path, we are going to turn left. We are going to turn left. And I'm going to put that on the outside. Remember, because this is the path. This is what we do inside the path. Only when we get to the end, then we turn. Okay, cool. That's nice. So what next, JD?
Move forward.
Look here. I'm going to show you something. How many paths do we have now? We've got one path, 2, 3, 4. Can you see that we have 4 paths? So if we move forward, yes.
Oh, so then so you put the repeat.
There we go. Beautiful. We can put all that in a repeat because every time we're going to move the path, even remember we said if there is corn. In this path over here, there is no corn, but because we use a conditional, our farmer won't do anything because there isn't any corn. So we're going to put all that inside a loop and we're going to name it 4 times. Now we can see that this, or let's take away that. What can we call this code here now? Okay, I think JD is having some problem with his microphone. Let me just, hi JD, are you still there?
Yes, sir.
There we go. Okay, JD. So here we have this code. What can we do? Call this code. We can put this inside our function.
I don't know, so what you can call it.
What shape is this?
Kind of like a
Rectangle. Okay, so we can maybe call it farming in a rectangle, or we can, I think let's just call it that, farming in a rectangle. Okay, or corn in a rectangle, or I don't know, let's just get farming in a rectangle. Let's call it that, farming in a rectangle. So let's go to our code. Sorry, I just want to move all the blocks out of my way. Farming, let's change this, or we can still call it pick along path, but farming in a rectangle. Farming, or we call it, let's not call it farming in a rectangle, we just call it rectangle farming. Rectangle farming, and I'm going to throw away this code because there are no pumpkins or anything. I'm going to put this entire code in here. Or if you just wanted to put this inside your function, you could have also done that. You can then just set farming in a path or picking in a path. You could have just put this in here and put it in a loop. But now we have that function. So we've got 2 functions. So what next, JD? Now we've got these 2 functions. So we've got stairs, we've got a rectangle, and we've got stairs. So what are we going to do?
We're going to put rectangle farming.
There we go. We go to our functions, rectangle farming, and then we need to do one more thing. What are we going to do? What do we end with?
Put stairs farming.
Stairs. We go to our function. we add our stairs, and I think that is all we need to sort out this puzzle. 3 blocks, look at that. Stairs, rectangle farming, stairs. And if we look at this over here, we've only used 19 blocks, 19 out of 23. But we have to check it first to see if it works. Let's quickly check it to see if it works. I'm going to reset, and I'm going to say thank you to JD for helping us solve this one. Thank you so much, JD. That was awesome. Let's run it and see what happens. There we go. There's our stairs. There's our rectangle. Wow, perfect. And then we have stairs. Look at that, all the way to the end with those 3 blocks and these functions. I just quickly want to show you guys something. Let's say, for example, we had this, take out this loop. And we're not going to call this rectangle farming. We're just going to call it, let's just for the sake of keeping it the same, I'm just going to say path farming. Because now here we see while path ahead, what do? We move forward. If there is corn, what are we going to do? Pick it and then turn left. Even if you had this, it would still have worked. The only thing is what we had to do here, we also had to put this then in a loop, the path. We had to put the path in a loop. If you didn't notice that hey, I can do it in a rectangle. But if you saw, okay, well, I've got a path here, and I've got a path here, and a path here, and one here, and you just made that path farming, or farming in a path. Like I said, you can call it anything you want. We just had to remember to do it 1, 2, 3, 4 times here. So let's see quickly if I do this, if our code also would have run. And look, still 19 blocks. Run. Now I'm doing it in a path. Turn left. There we go. Look at that, guys. So there are different ways to approach it. You can call your functions different things. It's just, let's do section for section. And if you code it out like we just did, you will be able to solve your problems. Because all we did is we checked what are we going to do here, and we wrote the code here. And once we saw that it is something that's going to repeat or that we can use again, we put it inside our function. And then we started a new part. Then we did the path farming, or the rectangle farming, if you want to see it. Even if you saw that, it's not really a rectangle because we move all the way. So maybe it is better just to call it path farming. And we saw that all our turns were going to be left. There we go. There's our path farming function. And then we saw stairs again. So there we go. Stairs, path farming times 2. Or remember, if you put this loop inside, like we did now with JD, if we put it inside, we can call it rectangle farming. And then stairs again. And there we go. 13 or 19 blocks. And they wanted us to do it in 23. Awesome stuff, guys. Let me just run this so I can move on to the next puzzle. Continue. And I think the last one is just a question. There we go. Just a question. Look at the function. I want you guys to type for me in the chat box A, B, C. If you're not sure, D. But let's quickly read and see what they say. Look at the functions defined below. What will the harvester pick? Okay, let's look at our picture. Let's look at our functions. Can I move the functions now? Check square for corn. So everyone she's going to check, if there is corn, pick corn. Then we also have pumpkin square, repeat 4 times, move along path, turn right. Okay, so maybe if we are past this first one, move along path, turn right, turn right, turn. Okay, so there we've got a square, and there we've got a square. And here, get produce, Repeat until there is lettuce. There's lettuce. Move forward. Pick lettuce. Is that all it is? Let's see what's underneath. Wow, there's so many more functions down here. Get all pumpkins. While there are pumpkins, pick pumpkins. Pick along path. Repeat. So now let's see what they've actually used, because they've written so many functions. Let's see what the code actually says. While path ahead, do check square for corn. So while path ahead, check square for corn. Turn right, get produce. So the harvester will pick 2 pumpkins. The harvester will pick all the pumpkins. The harvester will pick the lettuce. The harvester will pick the corn. So what are we going to do here? What is going to happen in this one? I've got so many. Natalie, Sipu, JD. Okay, C. The harvester will pick the lettuce. Turn right, get produce. Okay, I'm going to go for C that everybody says. Murunwa also said C. So let's go. Harvester will pick the lettuce. While path ahead, because it's going to run all the way to the end here. Turn around, get the lettuce. Beautiful, guys. Well done. Awesome stuff. And that is all we have time for today. I'm going to share this bonus link with you guys. You guys can try and do that as well. Let me just quickly go to the extras. Here's a nice puzzle. Let's pick. This one seems very difficult. So let me pick this one. It's a bonus level. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to share the link. You can open it and then you guys can play around with it a little bit. The pumpkins mark the place where you should turn right. So they tell you kind of how to use it. It looks familiar. We might have done this one before, but try it on your own and see if you can solve it. There we go. There's the link. Open it up, play around with it, see if you can solve it. If you can, send it to me. But then that is all we have time for today, guys. I want to say thank you for everybody that joined us, and I hope you guys had some fun and let's learn some new things. There's my email address where you can send me your details or your puzzles, mgeldenes81@gmail.com. And I want you guys to remember, use this one. There's an U inside my email address because I've seen some that just Geldenes YS and they forget the U and I don't get the mails. So please remember, check nicely when you use my email address when you send it. And just quickly, I want to see Muranwa, click on the link and then it should take you straight through that. If you continue from where you are, then it's going to take you to the next part, the next level, or the next, the next level. So click the link and it should take you to the bonus puzzle. I'm going to share it one more time quickly. Just click that link and it should take you to the end. There we can see extras. You can open it in that. Okay, guys, bye-bye. Have a good afternoon and enjoy your weekend.